X in Tokyo, bought those 3 foot lockers. I had the list, and I went and bought that camera and that lens and this and that, and I just started filling up those foot lockers, and I took them out to the airport, and the OID arrested me because they knew for certain I was bringing all this stuff back to sell on the black market. And I tried to tell them that it was for all you guys, and they insisted, you know, I was black marketing this stuff. So I got to stay in Japan an extra 3 days while they checked it out and found out I was on legit. He said, so thank you. So, but no, we really didn't get a chance to do our because it's 12, you know, Christmas Day, Easter Day, it was 12 hours, 7 days a week. We didn't get any time. And I think the reason, could we have worked 3 shifts? Did we have enough people to do 3 8-hour shifts as opposed to 2 12s? I think so. In retrospect, I think it was, well, you know, those Army guys are getting shot at over there and getting killed and tromping through the mud. And if you're getting hot meals, so the least you can do is work 12 hours a day.
Sure.
You know, and I think that was, you know, you can't share their what they're going through with the mud and the rain and everything, but so we can just like work your butt off. I mean, and you didn't really work that hard. This is Air Force. This isn't military. This is Air Force.
I guess.
And so so now we're back at Kinchlow, and it was the summer of '68, and they hand me orders to go to Okinawa.
Okay.
And I said, wait a minute, there's like these Air Force regulations that say, you know, first-term airman only serves 1 tour overseas. And this colonel looked at me and goes, you're right. And he took the orders and he goes, okay. So that was the end of it. And then 3-4 months later, and it was, again, I was still living off base. And actually, base housing calls me up one day and says, I'm now a 3-striper, E4, and we have a house for you on base. And meet and you know, you go through this ritual where you meet the housing inspector and you walk through the house with the inspector, make sure there's no cracks in the ceilings and everything, because when you leave that house, it better look just like this. So you went through a house, and okay, do you accept it? I said yes, and I signed a paper saying I accept this house. Because I was getting paid to live off base. I was getting, you know, separate ration thing. I signed the thing to be off to move in, and the next day they handed me orders to go to Guam. And I'm like, well, first thing I better do is cancel this house. So I called the base housing office and said, remember that house yesterday? Well, I don't need it now. Just to be, because they're trying to send me, I'm going to fight it obviously, but maybe you better not give me this house. Well, no, you have to have it inspected. Well, I didn't move in. So about 3 days later, I had to set up an appointment to meet the inspector, and it was the same guy. And he goes, you couldn't have moved in. I said, no. And I told him Sterling, he says, okay. Because then I got hounded. I owed the Air Force 3 days of separate rations. But I'll get back to that. So anyway, we're going to send you to Guam, Anderson Air Force Base. And I went to the same people and said, well, the regulations haven't changed. 1 tour. First term airman, 1 tour remote, that's it. Well, it's been waived. Waived by whom? I never did get to see. I went to the Inspector General, the IG, and you know, and it basically it turned out they said, well, you have 2 options. You can go back overseas, or you can go to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So I guess I went back overseas.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Fort Leavenworth, that's the big prison. Yeah, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So you either can go back over there, or you can go to jail.
Okay.
So I wound up coming back to Detroit and took some leave. In January of 1969, flew back to San Francisco to take the bus back to Travis Air Force Base to take a flight to Guam. And and that's what I did. I worked on B-52.